Welcome. Why
Why
would
are
you?
you laughing
Why
at
would you
me?
start looking at me
I
like
haven't
that?
even said anything. Like, I'm just looking at you.
Welcome back to another episode of CEO Confessions and Lessons with Lesha.
Hi.
And we are going to dive into last week's episode, which she hasn't seen yet. So we're going to watch it together. I'm talking about the origin story of Afro Unicorn. I don't know if you noticed how I've changed the story a little bit. Like, I don't talk about a certain person anymore.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So now I told them, like, my friend who used to call me a unicorn used to call me a unicorn because I was also a really great girlfriend to a certain person. So that's what this episode is about.
All right, let's dive into it.
All right, let's dive into it. And we're going to dive into my hair. I'm not just going to be looking like this, but I did just get it colored.
It's so thick.
And we use magical tresses, shampoo, and conditioner.
Look at how thick yours.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right, let's get into it. See you soon. All right. Okay, you know the drill. Get your popcorn, get comfortable, get your glass of wine, because we're getting ready to get into episode 4 of CEO Confessions and Lessons. So if you missed episode 3, go ahead, run that back so you can know what we're discussing today. And stay tuned for the end so you can see the transformation of this hair. All right, so we got my hair pressed and we're getting ready to start this style. And we just watched last week's episode of CEO Confessions and Lessons, where I talked about my origin story and how I basically have omitted one part of it because I'm kind of past that now. But basically, it was the fact that my friend used to call me unicorn because he witnessed how amazing of a girlfriend I was to this guy, and I really just didn't see it at the time. So Lisha's watched it and she asked questions.
Yeah. Okay, so my first question is, and you kind of just touched on it. You said, you omitted that part because you feel like you were past it. Do you feel like that's still not a very important part of your journey?
So at one point, I tussled with me having that reference of that past relationship and the fact that I created the Afro Unicorn's birthday on his birthday. And I feel like I was just giving him a lot of credit.
But
Like in
why?
my brain, I thought that if I keep on every interview, if I keep saying that because of this person treating me a certain way, I decided to become this unicorn, it was giving him.
But it's not even that you decided to become the unicorn. You were already that, right?
True.
So,
Well, the brand itself.
so you kind of felt like you were giving him too much credit in terms of like start him being responsible for the vision, or would you say he was just more so like a motivational factor?
Definitely a motivational factor. But I think I stopped saying that part because maybe I feel like I was having to relive it every time I talked about it.
Hmm. Okay, and how do you feel now?
Um, I think that part of the story helps people. I think it also helps people to understand why when I left Afro Unicorn, it was a woman's movement originally. Like it was dealing with women's issues and things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with me not saying that, people really only look at it as a kid's brand. Like part of it. That might be the what's the word when things aren't connecting? The breakdown
Mm-hmm.
of people not connecting Afro Unicorn to being a women's brand as well. Because I don't really talk about that part no more.
Right, and that's kind of what I was touching on, like, because I remember when it first started, it wasn't so much of a kids brand. It was more so a movement for women. And I remember you selected um a a handful of women to be a part of this movement because you felt like they could relate to it. So are you now at a place where you kind of want to incorporate that again?
1000%. I feel
Okay.
like it's the root, it's the reason for Afro Unicorn. It's why it was created. It was created because my friend saw me being this ultimate unicorn.
Mhm.
I literally struggled in the beginning when they wanted to include kids because I'm like, well, what have they accomplished? They ain't no unicorns. They ain't been through no breakups. They ain't got no jobs. They don't have no kids. Like, what even makes them unicorns? Because I didn't know much about them. So yeah, I definitely want to get back to the root of it. It wasn't until we really got into Walmart that it became like heavy children brand.
Okay, and that was gonna be my next question. Like, how did that transition happen to where it became, a kids brand? But you kind of.
So you know that when I launched having children's apparel immediately. Like I had the shirts for the kids, although I called them unicorns in training, after unicorns in training, because I was just like they not after unicorns.
Mhm.
So I had the shirts for them, and we would still highlight them. Even Walmart finding us, it was that one little girl who had the shirt on. Remember?
Mhm.
But so I guess that was the transition. So when Walmart saw it, they were like, "Oh, this character will be good for entertainment brand."
Mhm.
And when they brought us in, it was like my partners were very concerned. I don't know if it was me being just this black woman or just me just being a woman in general and not being a major studio like Disney, Marvel portray a certain image.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember, but I got called out when we were celebrating the Super Bowl
Mhm.
on my personal page, which I only had like 3,000 followers at the time, but they were watching me like a hawk.
Mhm.
So it was like everything that I did, it would have, they felt it could potentially affect the brand.
Right.
And they wanted to make sure that the brand looked like a children's brand on social media. Because at the time, I was still highlighting a lot of the adults.
Mhm.
Early on we had a lot of celebrities and stuff
Yeah,
rocking
I
Afro
remember.
Unicorn.
Mhm.
So it came it was a kind of like a direction from them and me not knowing what I was getting into, my first time in this space. I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I have to do.
Right. So what do you feel like you could do now to, move back into that direction?
Oh, well, one thing is I'm doing these YouTube videos, CEO Confessions and Lessons. I have my women's conferences. Retreats. It's not a conference.
Mhm.
The Manifest Magic Retreat. Just getting more into my story,
Yes.
the behind the scenes of the things that I've been through. Ain't nothing kiddie about it.
Right. Okay, and then my final question is, you talked about years later, being in the neighborhood and revisiting that person, and you had them read the bio, and you kind of, told them what the whole brand was about, and then you also mentioned, well, this was off the record, but I guess what I want to know is, do you feel like that person got the message? How do you feel about that?
So she's asking me this, like Lesha don't know this person. So
I mean, I'm asking for the viewers because I'm sure they would like to know.
I'm gonna wait till you come back.
I think I need.
Do you need my edge
Yes,
control?
I need
We're
yours
about
for
to get
these
the match
words.
perspective edge control. 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna answer it, and then I want you to answer it.
You want me to
Yes,
answer it?
you would. Stop, Lesha, stop beating around the bush. Do you think the person got the message?
Well, I'm gonna let you answer it first because I want to be honest. I want to go a little further. Like I want to know what happened when they read the bio
What do you
and
think happened? What do you think they said?
I don't know. I want you to tell us what they said and how that went. And I guess I also want to know, what were you expecting, or when you went over there, because it had been a year. I know that that was like a really bad breakup, and that moment, because I've known you for that long, that moment literally, like the ending of that relationship, it like gave birth to a new April. Like it completely changed the trajectory of your path, because you were supposed to be somebody's wife, and you were doing all of these things. So yeah, I want to know, like, what made you go over there and share that with him. What were you expecting, and do you feel like he got it?
Okay.
So that question was loaded.
So first off, I have to try to remember because it was 5 years ago in July. It'll be 5 years ago that I went over there. My 40th birthday. I hadn't in that whole year been in this person's neighborhood. A whole year. My girlfriend invited me out a restaurant right by his house. So I was like, maybe this is destined for me to go over here. So that's the reason. The reason was literally because I was in the area.
Okay.
What I was expecting, one, I looked so cute, Lesha. I don't know if you remember, but I have this yellow dress, strapless dress. It's like mustard color.
Was it the time when we went to was it that time we went to they had like this day party thing?
It was no, but it was the year that was 2019. This is the year after.
Okay.
The year after. But I was cute. You had me in this very long straight ponytail.
That was the time. I was literally, it was me, you, Jay.
No, that was 2019. That was my birthday. I had this. I'm gonna show you the picture.
Okay.
But anyway, so I went over there, and my expectation was, look at me now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And mind y'all, this was before I went into retail. But I still felt like Afro Unicorn was the SHIT. Like,
yeah, it was, because you had a vision for it.
Yes, and like it was cracking in these streets. Like you couldn't tell me nothing even then. And so I wanted him to see through all the drama that I went through and the tears I cried, that I birthed something beautiful out of it. Now, what was his response when he read the bio? I just remember him sitting on his chair, looking at it, bobbing his head, and saying, yeah, this is good. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, sounds like him. Hated it.
And so, did he get it? I don't know if he actually tied it all together.
Yeah, I don't think he did. What about now?
She's saying that because this person still hangs around. And Lesha's always had a weird thing about this person. She just never understood why he was always around.
Oh my gosh!
No, I don't. I still don't think he gets it. I mean, he claims he's so proud of me and everything that I'm doing. I will say when I went over his family's house last year, like they knew everything. I felt like when I walked in the house. Oh
yeah, I most definitely think they are.
I felt like a whole like celebrity. Like they were so excited, and so I know he talks about me and what the brand is doing, but I don't know if he has connected the dots that I literally created this despite you.
I mean, you were always gonna be great regardless. I feel like that relationship needed to end because I remember you then and I know you now. So I feel like that, even though it was a very hard time for you, like it needed to happen. Um, and then let's see, do I have one more question? Okay, given that this is such a foundational part of your life, your story, your brand, how do you, when you go through stuff now, like how do you use that experience to kind of get through challenges now?
Well, if you watched the last episode, clearly,
Yeah, come on, bring it in, tie it all in.
Clearly, I got caught up in a 3-year craziness even afterwards. And they literally were the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Their birthdays were one day apart.
Mm-hmm.
Same age. I guess I didn't learn a lesson, but I learned it now. I know it very, very clear. I'm very well aware. I am a unicorn going into this. No one made me nothing. I am who I am. I've been a boss. I've been all the things that Cortez said. Like I've been that girl from the beginning. And I gotta stop thinking that these individuals are adding something of value when they're not.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you said that. Um, and I also think how the two tie in is that you tend to oversee or you want to bring out certain qualities out of people. And so you kind of do it at the expense of yourself. And so I kind of just want you to reflect on that. That you're the prize, you're the boss, you're the unicorn, you're destined for greatness no matter what. And so if somebody don't see that in you, then it's not for them to see. And that's where I'm gonna end.
All right, that's a good place to end. I will say that Lesha has always just been like, you know, you're the prize, you know your worth. So when God will give you a lesson twice if you didn't get it the first time.
He's gonna give it to you more than twice. Just gonna keep going around and around that mountain until you get it.
Until you get it.
Yeah.
So I'm here. I got it. Moving forward. Onward and upward. I'm
Onward and
officially a
upward.
year out of the last one.
Wow.
It was a
That went
year,
by so fast, huh?
a year May 30th. It was still some like emotional connection that lingered on for a couple of
Mm-hmm.
months. But like I'm in that year phase, which is I feel great.
Got it.
All right.
Love.
Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe to the I Am April Showers TV and keep watching for more episodes. Until next time.
Next time.
Bye.
Happy.